Airline tickets are expensive, so you want to get the most out of your air travel expenses? I hear you. I'm the same way. That's why I've been booking connecting flights with long layovers recently. This way, I get to visit a whole new city while paying less for my airfares. In this video, I'll talk about the pros and cons of booking long layover flights and some tips and tricks you can use to have an enjoyable layover trip. Let's just start with the pros of long layovers. Number one, you can definitely save money on the airfare. Connecting flights are significantly less expensive than direct flights. This is because airlines are willing to offer discounts on connecting flights. So they don't fly an airplane with plenty of unsold seats. As a result, passengers have options to pay less if they are willing to take connecting flights. It's just one of the rare circumstances where both passengers and airlines win. Other than that, it's just pure animosity between us.
20 minutes until the gate is closed. Where are our maps?
Pro number two, you get to visit a whole new city for free as part of your layover. In the last couple of years, I visited 3 European cities, Geneva, London, and Amsterdam, during long layovers. And it was great. I mean, a round-trip ticket to these cities can easily cost hundreds of dollars, and I was able to save that. But of course, if you want to stay overnight, you will need to pay for accommodations yourself, except for rare cases when the airline covers that expense for you. Let me explain. So I recently had a completely free trip to London. Everything was covered: the flight, the hotel, transportation, even meals. I spent nothing on this trip. Why? Because my flight was rescheduled by the airline and they were responsible for certain expenses according to their own policy. Which brings me to my next point. With a short layover, there's a higher chance you will miss a connecting flight compared to a long layover, especially if it's an international flight. Once you miss your flight, you need to reschedule your flight, which means either you have to be stuck at the airport for more hours, or you have to find a hotel to stay overnight and call your work and say you can't go to work tomorrow. Either way, it's a pretty annoying situation that we all want to avoid. Well, we got lucky with our missed flight though, because we ended up getting a 100% complimentary trip to London. We had just under 24-hour layover, so we booked a hotel near Hyde Park and took express trains to get there. We had our dinner, breakfast, and lunch. All these expenses came to about $500 US, and it was fully reimbursed by the airline. But it could have easily turned into a bad situation where we would have been stuck in the airport for hours waiting for the next flight and arrive at our final destination at an odd time, feeling sleep deprived and super exhausted. Unless I am very time constrained, I would much rather take the next day's flight, spend time outside the airport, and make that day count. But here's the thing, it's not really your choice. In most cases, the airline will automatically reschedule your flight, and there is not much you can do about it. And that's why, if you are booking connecting flights anyway, I think it's worth booking a long layover so you have less of a chance missing the connecting flight and actually enjoy your layover time. Now, let's talk about the cons of long layovers. Obviously, you spend more time in the airplane. It's a slower way to travel. If you are time constrained, long layover does not work for you. Also, there are more check-ins with connecting flights. You will need to go through security more than once, and you will need to be more prepared with checking bags. Personally, I see more pros than cons for long layovers. How about you? Well, if you're still on the fence about trying long layovers, Here are some tips and tricks you can use to make sure that you have enjoyable layover trips. First, you need to choose the right kind of a city. Not every city is ideal for a layover visit. What makes a city ideal? Well, in my opinion, the city center needs to be close to the airport. For that reason, Geneva was the perfect city to visit during a layover. It took a quick, less than 10 minutes train ride to get to the city center from the airport. London and Amsterdam were pretty good choices too, since it takes less than 30 minutes to travel from the airport to the city center. Also, the city needs to be compact and walkable. For a layover visit, you really want the trip to be effortless and spontaneous. So if you can see the main attractions and landmarks, and even taste the most popular food of the city all at once, just by strolling around the downtown area, that is the perfect layover trip, in my opinion. Tip number 2, stay in a downtown hotel rather than a hotel in the airport area. This will give you more time to explore the city than to transport back and forth. Also, if you stay in the city center, you can stay out till late at night or wake up early in the morning and go for a nice morning walk. This way, you will definitely have more memorable time during your short visit. Tip number 3, I would say you need at least 20 hours to make the layover trip worthwhile. Anything less than that would definitely feel rushed and you'd hardly remember any of it. Tip number 4, make sure that you are not arriving on a major holiday or weekend where a lot of things are closed in the city. Remember, you just have one day or even less than a day to explore. So when I went to Geneva on Sunday, I didn't realize that most stores are closed on Sundays. Although I was still able to see Lake Geneva and the architecture of the city, I wish I was there during the week so I can experience the city when it's fully alive. Tip number 5. If you're checking your bag, make sure that the bag will be transported directly to your final destination. In some cases, you might need to pick up your baggage during your layover and recheck your bag. That's something you want to avoid because you're gonna end up spending more time at the airport and you have to carry the luggage with you throughout the layover trip. Also, if you have a short layover, your baggage can actually hold you back and make you miss your next flight, which is a much bigger problem. Tip number 6, make sure to book connecting flights with the same airline. So if there's any delay or cancellation, you have just one airline to point a finger at and hold them accountable. I hope these were helpful tips. If you have more ideas, feel free to let us know in the comment below and share your own fun or terrible layover stories with us. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like and I'll see you in my next video.